And Vivek, who's here right now, so he can speak for himself, he said this is a sham trial. It's politically motivated. It's an assault on the leading candidate for U.S. president. I would expect he would say something good, actually, so I won't go through the rest, but he's here. He's going to talk to you. The Speaker of the House is here. We have Byron Donalds. Corey is here. We have a lot of great people here to talk to you. And they won't let them speak here. I guess they want to make it difficult for them to speak. So for some reason, I can speak here, but I'm the only one that's allowed. The gag order has to come off.
I don't really know what the jury in Donald Trump's criminal trial are thinking or which way they may rule after it wraps up. But from the look of his desperate attempt to bring in his political lapdogs for propaganda purposes, it makes me think he doesn't think it's going very well. Pay attention to how Mike Johnson parrots Trump's talking points, though.
President Trump is a friend, and I wanted to be here to support him. I'm here speaking with you outside because the court won't allow us to speak inside the building.
They won't let them speak here. I guess they want to make it difficult for them to speak. So for some reason, I can speak here, but I'm the only one that's allowed.
That's just one of the many things that are wrong here. This is the fifth week that President Trump has been in court for this sham of a trial. They are doing this intentionally to keep him here and keep him off of the campaign trail.
This is a sham trial. It's politically motivated. It's an assault on the leading candidate for U.S. president.
And I think everybody in the country can see that for what it is. I'm an attorney. I'm a former litigator myself. I am disgusted by what is happening here, what is being done here to our entire system of justice overall. The people are losing faith right now in this country, in our institutions. They're losing faith in our system of justice. Election day cannot get here soon enough, and we will continue to shine a light on all of this in Congress because we have that constitutional responsibility. Again, I came here again today on my own to support President Trump because I am one of hundreds of millions of people and one citizen who is deeply concerned about this.
If you have to keep trying to convince reporters that you bailed on your job and went to Trump's criminal trial on your own, it's a sign that you're trying to cover up that you needed to show your loyalty to the guy that demands it for a spot in his planned administration full of brainless yes men. But up next, it was Tommy Tuberville's turn.
First of all, I'm disappointed in the courtroom. I'm hearing Mr. Trump. He is former President Trump. Give him some respect. I mean, that's what that place is in there. It's no respect. Here's what I'm seeing, too. It is depressing. That courtroom is depressing.
But I've been here for almost 4 weeks in an icebox. I call it the icebox.
This is New York City, the icon of our country. And we got a courtroom that's the most depressing thing I've ever been in. Mental anguish is trying to be pushed on the Republican candidate for the President of the United States this year. That's all this is. He's been here a month. I am disappointed in looking at the supposedly American citizens in that courtroom, that the DA comes in and he acts like it is his Super Bowl. And I guess it is, to be noticed.
New Yorkers should be outraged at the mockery Bragg is making of the state's legal system.
But that's what's happening in this country. The Republican candidate for President of the United States is going through mental anguish in a courtroom that's very depressing. Very depressing. I'm glad to stand by President Trump. I'm a friend of his. I'm here more as a friend than backing him as candidate as president.
No, I'm not here because Trump demands us to show the public that we choose him over the country while devastating things are being revealed in court. I'm here as a friend, too. Tuberville also included a standard football reference and discussed that people inside didn't drop to a knee when Trump walked past them. These are guys that would want you to believe that they're proud Americans and not loyalists to a king-like figure. J.D. Vance memorized his lines for his audition, too.
Judge inside, his daughter is making millions of dollars running against Donald Trump, raising money for Donald Trump's political opponents.
This judge should not be allowed in the case, and he should not allow this case to go forward. And by the way, the judge, as you know, is totally conflicted, and everybody's talking about it.
The number 3 person in the Department of Justice, Biden's Department of Justice, left to become a local prosecutor to go after Donald Trump.
So he's weaponized the Department of Justice, and as you know, they have their people in that room. The DOJ is in that room. because they want to try and hurt me.
And of course, there's Alvin Bragg, a Soros-funded prosecutor who promised to go after Donald Trump and now is doing exactly that.
New Yorkers should be outraged at the mockery Bragg is making of the state's legal system.
If these guys have to know that everything that they're saying can easily be shown coming out of Donald Trump's mouth for the past few weeks, too. There was also Byron Donalds there, who was also on Trump's list of thirsty subordinates that need some recognition besides being the temporary vote getter during the Republicans' embarrassing speaker vacancy.
Ladies and gentlemen of America, this trial is a joke. This thing is a farce. We were in there all morning. Michael Cohen basically sat there and said, yeah, he invoiced legal expenses. The Trump campaign, the Trump organization, not the campaign, paid out money in legal expenses. Where's the crime? There is no crime.
Not sure what the crime is being alleged. Prosecutors have not explained why denoting this as a legal expense was wrong. We marked it down as legal expense. So I had a legal expense, and I marked it down as a legal expense. I didn't mark it down as construction of a wall, took a legal expense and called it a legal expense. This is their whole case. Are you allowed to call a legal expense a legal expense?
The only crime that's happening here is this Democrat judge and the Democrat Party prosecuting their political rival right in the middle of a presidential election.
It's election interference at a level that's never taken place before.
And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing that has been wrong here. Nothing that has been done poorly by President Trump. The only thing that's being done wrong is by this judge.
This judge should not be allowed in the case, and he should not allow this case to go forward. Listening to a judge who's totally corrupt and conflicted.
They all showed up with opportunistic goals on their minds. It's like they take this trial as a pageant, where they're the contestants vying for Donald Trump's attention and approval. So while they railed on Michael Cohen testifying about Trump's actions, what they all curiously made sure to avoid talking about was what he said.
He describes an angry Trump confronting him, saying, "I thought you took care of it. I thought you had this under control." And then Trump going on to say, according to Michael Cohen, this, meaning the Stormy Daniels scenario breaking, is a total disaster. Women will hate me. Guys will think it's cool. But this is going to be a disaster for the campaign. That's almost one of the last thing the jurors heard before the lunch break. And I can tell you, as I was keeping an eye on jurors and making my notes, they seem to me to be riveted by this testimony. This is so crucial because one of the main goals for the prosecution that Michael Cohen has is to establish a motive and intent directly on Donald Trump that would cause him to take the steps that ultimately led to the $130,000 payment and be involved and be knowledgeable about it.
When your supporters that are supposed to be representing their constituents but have chosen to help Trump spin his criminal proceedings on the day that his fixer testifies, they knew that it could be some damning testimony. They just might not have known how damning.
So far, he's been a strong witness for the prosecution. Is that your bottom line?
Absolutely. He comes across poised, cool, calm, and collected. Trump came in with a huge entourage today, about 23 individuals, including Senator J.V. Vance, Senator Tom Tuberville. When they left at the break at about 11:30, that was one somber-looking group. That was my eye, and I was sitting right in the aisle seat. So I don't think they're all too pleased about what they're seeing so far.
It sounds like the prosecution knows that he's got the problematic background, and so far they brought in other people to essentially say the same stuff he's going to say. Now he's going to take the stage, say it, but then they're going to go, you can't trust that guy, but then the prosecution's going to say, yeah, but what about those other people who said the same thing?